The wind scraped across the low hills of the southern frontier, cold and insistent. Beneath a sky of low clouds and distant gray light, the Danevirke rose like a great scar, an earthen wall reinforced with timber and stone, stretching for miles like the spine of an old watchful beast. Gorm spoke without turning.
My father expanded these walls. Now I strengthen them. One day you will do the same.
Unless we find a better way to secure our borders.
Walls and warriors have protected Denmark for generations. What better way is there?
Alliances, trade, understanding our neighbors rather than just fearing them.
You've been listening to those Christian merchants again.
I've been listening to everyone, Father. That's what a future king should do.
My king, riders approaching under Otto's banner. They carry the Emperor's standard.
Otto the Great sends diplomats now, after years of raids and threats.
Perhaps it's an opportunity.
Or a trap.
The Great Hall at Jelling was not just a throne room. It was a living archive of Denmark's legacy. Massive wooden beams towered overhead, darkened with soot and carved with runes that told of gods, kings, and battles past. The doors groaned open, and the Saxon delegation entered. First came Otto's emissary, then beside him walked Archbishop Uni, aged and serene. Silence fell as they approached. Every noble, captain, and merchant in the hall shifted their weight or folded their arms.
Emperor Otto extends his hand in peace to King Gorm and the people of Denmark.
Peace? Your emperor has spent years testing our borders.
The past is the past. The emperor proposes a new relationship. Trade routes opened, Danish merchants protected in Saxon lands.
And what does Otto want in return for this generosity?
Only that Denmark's people be allowed to hear the word of Christ freely, that churches be permitted throughout your lands.
So Otto uses faith as his new weapon.
Faith is no weapon, King Gorm. It is salvation.
My people already have gods. Gods who've watched over Denmark since before Rome remembered its own name.
Harald stepped forward, interrupting the standoff. His voice was measured, but bold.
What guarantees does the Emperor offer that these are not empty promises?
The room fell quiet again. This time, all eyes turned to the prince. Night had crept over Jelling, and with it came the weight of uncertainty. Within the dim stone walls of Gorm's private chambers, shadows danced across the walls, mirroring the storm that raged inside the king's mind.
This is not a genuine offer of peace. This is conquest by other means.
Yet, we cannot simply reject it. Our merchants need those trade routes.
Gorm turned slowly, his voice rising.
And our people need their ways, their faith. What kind of king would I be if I let foreign priests undermine the very foundation of what makes us Danish?
Is our foundation so weak that mere words can destroy it?
The air tightened. Gorm stared at his son, the flicker of anger giving way to something heavier.
You find their ideas appealing, don't you?
I find knowledge appealing, Father. The Christians have much of it. Their writing, their organization.
Their ambition to rule all lands under their cross.
Harald crossed to the map and pointed south.
Denmark stands at a crossroads. To the south, Christian kingdoms grow stronger and more unified. To the north and east, our old ways remain. We can't simply hide behind the Danevirke forever.
I'm not hiding. I'm protecting what generations of Danes have built.
Perhaps there is a middle ground. Allow the priests to speak to those who wish to listen, but protect our sacred sites. Secure trade without bending the knee.
This is not what I built Denmark to become.
You built Denmark to survive, Father. This may be how it does.
The coastal wind carried the scent of tar, salt, and wood shavings. King Gorm sat atop his horse, watching from a low ridge. His cloak snapped in the breeze. Beside him, a grizzled jarl stared uneasily at the structure.
Third church this season, my king. The old gods lose ground with each foundation stone.
Our sacred sites stand in stone.
It's not the buildings that concern me. It's what happens inside them. Their priests teach that our ways are false, that our gods are demons.
My own son included.
The interior was dim, the canvas walls fluttering with the coastal wind. Gorm stood at the edge of the table. Harald faced him across it, hands clenched.
You undermine me with every word you exchange with that priest.
I seek knowledge, not conversion.
Knowledge? Their writings claim our gods are false, that the afterlife we've honored for generations is a lie.
Why fear ideas, Father? Let them speak. Let our people decide what rings true.
Because some decisions cannot be unmade. Some changes break what cannot be mended.
Harald stepped back slightly. For the first time, he saw the edge of fear in his father's eyes.
You're not just defending tradition. You're afraid.
I'm afraid of what I won't recognize. Of the Denmark I'll leave behind.
The night was moonless, heavy with the scent of damp ash and trampled pine, and statues of the gods Thor, Freya, and Odin lay shattered and blackened. And at the center of the desecration, scorched into the ground, were the symbols of the Christian cross. King Gorm stood amid the destruction, motionless.
Christian symbols left behind. The priests denied involvement, but...
Gorm didn't speak. The torchlight flickered across his armor.
Summon the council tonight!
The air crackled with tension. Nobles shouted, merchants gestured wildly. Some demanded war, others urged caution. Oni stood at the center of it all, his hands raised for calm, but his voice was drowned in the storm.
This is the peace Otto offers, the desecration of our sacred places.
This was not our doing. Perhaps overzealous converts, but not
Converts you created. Your words put axes in their hands.
The room fell momentarily quiet as Harald entered, face grim.
Father, there's more. A Saxon warband crossed the Danevirke. They burned 2 villages before we drove them back.
So the cross comes first, and then the sword.
The Emperor would not authorize such treachery.
Enough!
You and all your priests will leave Danish lands by morning. Any who remain will answer to Danish steel.
Oni did not argue further, but Harald did. He stepped forward, placing himself between the throne and the emissaries.
Father, this solves nothing. If we expel them all, we prove Otto right that we are barbarians who cannot be reasoned with.
Take care, my son. You stand very close to the line between Denmark and her enemy.
That night the storm passed, but the tension and yelling remained. Silence hung between the 3 figures inside like a curtain waiting to be drawn. Tyra moved with deliberate calm, pouring a drink into wooden cups. Her eyes moved between her husband and son.
Both of you speak from love of Denmark, but you see different Denmarks.
I see what is. Harold sees what might be.
What must be, Father? The world changes, whether we wish it to or not.
Tyra placed her cup aside and crossed to a chest near the far wall. From it, she drew a bundle wrapped in dark cloth and held it with care.
Show him.
Gorm hesitated, then gave a single nod.
The monument. These runes speak of what you've built.
They speak of what I protected.
And you fear what comes next will erase this.
Your father's name means he who guards. It has defined his reign.
I've been blind to your fear, Father. Not fear of change itself, but fear that what you've built would be forgotten.
Stone endures even when people forget.
Then let me make you this vow. Whatever path I must take as king, I will never let your work be forgotten. What you built will be the foundation, not the sacrifice.
And for the first time in many days, the silence between them felt like peace. At the center of Jelling, beneath a wide sky streaked with gold, the craftsmen stepped back from their work.
It is done, my king. Your words carved for all time.
A fine monument, my husband.
More than a monument, a marker that here stood Denmark as it was meant to be.
Behind them, Harald arrived, flanked by his wife Asfrid. His expression was solemn, reverent.
It will stand for generations, Father.
And what will stand beside it when you are king?
Perhaps another stone, one that honors you, one that bridges what has been and what must come.
Denmark will change under your hand.
But its heart will remain. This I promise you.
Before more could be said, the thunder of hooves echoed down the road. A rider burst into the clearing.
My king, Saxon forces gather at the border in unprecedented numbers. Emperor Otto himself leads them.
Gorm straightened. The king returned to him, iron, defiant.
So it comes to war after all.
Not yet. Let me go to Otto first. One final chance for words before swords.
You would face the Emperor alone?
Not alone, as your son, as Denmark's voice.
Go, but know this, if you fail, I will meet Otto with every warrior Denmark can muster. The old gods will feast well that day.